Hi Mini Makers, we are so excited that you are in the club for March, and this is all about springtime and Easter. And so we hope that you are excited, and we have a great little tray. If you do the Easter bunny, you can put out something to drink and a little treat, or it's just a fun Easter decor about bunnies. So we love that. And then my favorite is this bunny with glasses. There's so much creativity you can have with this project. So let's get started. So the first thing that you're gonna do is go ahead and put your stencils and your glasses aside just for now. Then we wanna paint our backgrounds. Now you can do whatever color background you want, but remember, you wanna be thinking in contrasting colors. So whatever color you're gonna do the outline of your bunny, you wanna make sure that it's gonna stand out on your background. So I'm gonna do my bunny kind of simple. I'm gonna do him black. So really I can do almost anything for my colors then. You could do a simple white, but I think just to keep it simple, I'm gonna do a background of white, but I'll show you how to distress the frame a little bit fun, and then we'll do that. So let's go ahead and get started. So I'm gonna open up my white. We wanna remember that a little bit of paint goes a really long way. So we're gonna dip just a little bit of our thing and scrape it off so it's not dripping. We don't wanna use too much paint or it's gonna take forever to dry. So I'm gonna go ahead and mash all of my paint on there, really push it into the wood. And so that way we have a nice solid foundation. And your white is gonna take a couple layers. You wanna build those layers lightly, not too much at once. Because like I said, otherwise it's never gonna dry and it'll create some problems when we go ahead and do our stencil. I'm shaking my camera, sorry about that. So we're getting this nice and good. I'm gonna do all the sides, inside, outside, top and bottom. So I love bunnies because they remind me of spring, like little hens and bunnies and all those baby animals. So that's why we chose bunnies, because it's just fun. So I got a good layer started on here. I'm gonna go ahead and put that to the side, and I'm gonna work on my background of my disc. So for my disc, I wanna have a little bit of fun. I'm gonna go ahead and do teal, because I love teal. So same thing, you're just gonna spread that paint all around. And this is a perfect little circle, so we gave you a stencil for one side. You could totally do a freehand painting on the other side and be able to use it all year long. So don't let the stencil limit you. Do the stencil on one side, and then you have a whole blank surface to have a Picasso thing too. Just be sure not to get it messy if you try and do the reverse side. Use a clean piece of paper. So I'm gonna let that dry. Then I'm gonna go ahead and give this a quick blow dry so I can do another layer. Wet paint is always gonna stick to dried paint better than it will the board. So I like to blow dry in between my layers of white because it's really gonna help it stick better, and it'll let you not have to do as many layers. So my fingers just got messy from my teal, so I'm leaving teal marks, but that's okay. So I'm gonna have a little bit of fun with my frame in a minute. Like I forgot a whole side. So one of the things we love to see is a picture of you holding your finished projects. So if your mom or dad or grandma are willing to share, have them take a picture of your finished product and send it to us, and we would love to feature all of your creativity on our page because we love seeing what you guys do with these projects. All right, so I got a nice solid color there. What we love to do is use some baby wipes or even just wash your hands in between your background colors because you want to have nice clean hands when you do the next part. If you're waiting for things to dry and you don't have a blow dryer, don't forget to check out your dry time surprise. We like to include these because they make it fun. And this one was super fun. It's dustless chalkboard. So you can color in your own egg basket on one side and then freehand an egg coloring on the other side. This is great to bring along in your mom's purse if you want something to do at restaurants or different things. But we hope you have lots of fun with the dry time surprise. Just a little bonus as our thanks for being a Mini Maker member. All right. So let's give this a good old blow dry. All right. So I have things nice and dry now. When we paint, we raise the grain structure in the board, so we want to make sure we sand it. You have a little piece of sandpaper in there. You're just going to push semi-hard and sand down that roughness. And I like to go both directions. And that's going to help us not get bleeds when we put on our stencil. You can just kind of blow away the dust. Make sure you do that to both. Now, you might find it a little overwhelming to work on both projects at once. But the process is the same for both. So if you want to do all one project and then move to the next, sometimes that's more fun. But for the sake of the video, I'll work on both at once. You can see with this color, it kind of changes it a little bit as I sand. I really like that. But if you don't, you could do another layer and blow dry. Just do a nice light layer and blow dry. And then that way, it'll look solid again. But it tends to just come off. And you have your finished thing. All right. So I have my two things. Now it's time for stencils. This is the part you're gonna want mom or dad probably to help you with. So moms, flip it upside down. Moms, dads, grandmas, trusted adults. And what you're gonna do is, so you're gonna peel it back so no glue sticks to the white. So you see that one's coming forward. I'm just gonna push forward. Sometimes it helps to crease it and then peel back slowly again. So I don't want any glue to stick to the white. That means the center's coming up and we need all of those. So anytime something comes up, just push forward, push it down, and peel back. Once you have this done, you can put this white piece to the side and you're just gonna line it up with your circle. Now I like to give the option to keep it pretty well centered in case I wanted to do a border. I'm gonna push this down. You can use a credit card to scrape it down if it's not sticking. A lot of times you can just give a nice burnish with your hand like that. And then you're gonna peel this clear layer back the same way that we did the white. So if anything comes up, push it back down. Make sure it sticks. And this is where if it's not sticking, just use a credit card to push it down a little bit harder. You don't wanna do too hard though, because then sometimes that wood likes to splinter. All right, so we got that one on. Now we're gonna go ahead and put the next one on. Same process. We're just gonna take it. Peel back, make sure no parts are coming up. Once I have it free of the stencil, I can go ahead and move over to my board, line it up, Push down. Rub it on. And then you're gonna peel that white, or that clear away. Again, making sure that all your blue pieces stay down. My piece had 2 pieces of clear, so I'm just gonna make sure I clear it all before I start painting. Okay. Now comes the fun part. It's time to stencil. So I like to grab a paper towel because this is where we really want to remember that a little bit of paint goes a really long way. So I fold my paper towel in half. Now with my bunny, I'm just going to paint him all black. You could do a tie-dye, you could make a light gray by mixing black and white. You could do a pink bunny. There is no rules here, but you're going to use the white sponge, pinch it, and use the flat side here. We're gonna dip, scrape on the side, hit twice on the paper towel, and then you wanna hop in an up and down motion. Dip, scrape, mash, mash, hop, 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 hop. So I'm gonna paint him all black. Like I said, you can do whatever color combination you like. But to me, he's kind of like the outline of a bunny. And I like outlines to be black. What color do you like your outlines? Definitely share a picture with us. Just hop away. It's better to build one layer, do the whole thing, and then come back through and do a second layer than ever get too shiny. If you have paint that's shiny on top of the stencil, it can get too thick and then it just peels off. So we don't want that. So that second layer is where you're gonna get a lot of your good coverage. We're gonna put that to the side and let it dry. And then I'm gonna come work on this. Now here's where we can have a little bit of fun because we have different color eggs. You could do different colored polka dots if you wanted. So I'm gonna go ahead and do my egg in this pretty lavender color. You could do your polka dots a different color if you wanted. Just use a different sponge for each color that you wanna do. And let's see, I think I will do the circle and the arrow in lavender too. So remember, do one light layer and then come back through and do a second layer. I'm gonna do all my words in white. I'll do one light layer and then come back through and do my second layer. So never get too shiny all at once, because that's where it has a tendency to bleed underneath the stencil. So yours will have your personalized name on it. And this is just a fun spring decor. To put out. So you can make it fun and colorful, because spring has lots of colors in it, like flowers and anything you want. I think I'll come back through and do one more layer on this. And this is just a nice light layer. Again, never make it shiny. That way we don't bleed. And if you need to walk away and take a short break, that's okay. That lets it dry a little bit. Or you can play with your dry time surprise. We have lots of fun ones, lots of fun dry time surprises coming up in future boxes. I got to go to the Las Vegas market and pick out a whole bunch of fun stuff for you guys. So I can't wait for you guys to see it. October and December's are probably my favorite ones. Although really I love them all. The summer box coming next is super cute too. So don't miss that one. I'll give you lots of activities to do in the summer. Keep you busy. All right, and this is what I'm talking about. You could go ahead and do a line around here if you wanted to give your thing a border. So I'm gonna keep mine simple, but if you wanted to paint a border around yours, or maybe you accidentally went over, that's a great way to kind of make it look like you meant to do it, okay? So then we're gonna get a tweezers or a safety pin. I always like to put all of my lids back on my paints before I start peeling, because I never want to spill on my project, because that would be sad. I'll put all that up. Now, before I peel this one, I think it looks kind of plain on the edges, so I'm gonna have just a little bit of fun. I'm gonna show you guys how to distress the edges. So I'm gonna use the brush that is included in here. And this is just distressing, so it's not full painting. Not that you can't paint it carefully, but I'm just gonna add a little bit of distressing. So I'm gonna use the brush, dip just the top in it, and then I'm gonna heavily unload on a paper towel like this, really hard. So it seems like nothing's on my brush. Then I'm just gonna lightly tickle back and forth, and it's gonna add just a little bit of a hint of teal to the edges, the top edges of my board. And that way it helps my frame stand out. So you can choose if you want to do the inside edge, but just be careful you don't go too close so you don't get it on the background. But you don't have to do this part. If you like it all one color, that's fine too, but if you like to add a little bit of pop, it can be a fun way, and you don't have to get really close to that edge because it's just a distressing. So just a light tickle, load, unload, tickle, tickle, tickle. You can actually do this on the backgrounds of a lot of your projects, and it adds a little bit of fun, but you don't have to do it. I missed that whole edge. Silly me. Okay, so it just added just a little bit of teal to my edges, okay? Now, putting my lid back on my paint, I can take my tweezers and peel off my stencil. And this one has lots of little pieces, so it might be good to get the help of a trusted adult to peel it so you don't gouge the board. But it's really fun It almost reminds me of the Velveteen Rabbit. If you haven't read that book, you should. Because he's just got a little bit of a pretty rusticness to him. So the safety pins are great because you can kind of just poke and then lift the edges and peel it. But you're basically gonna get all of this blue off. And you're gonna reveal your bunny that looks like you sketched it. There's my bunny, but he gets cuter. You ready? You have your glasses, right? So, I think I'm gonna make my bunny have pink glasses. So I'm gonna use that same white sponge, dip, scrape, unload, and then just hop. Now you could do polka dot glasses, you could do zigzag glasses, you could do tie-dyed glasses. You can do whatever you want to your glasses. And there's really no wrong because we're gonna just glue them onto our bunny once they dry. Okay, so my glasses are there. Put the lid back on my paint. And then while my glasses are drying, I'm gonna go ahead and peel, put you off to the side and you off to the side. I'm gonna go ahead and just peel my stencil. And all those little centers of your A's and E's and P's and all that and D's are just gonna pop out using that tweezer or safety pin. You wanna make sure your project is dry before you start doing all the little centers because you could drag your hand in wet paint and that's not good. So you need to let it dry, but do not blow dry once you have your stencil on because the problem is then the stencil likes to stick to the board and melt there. So always let it air dry once you have your stencil on. Okay? So then let's grab the glue and put it on there. So you have your little glue pot. I don't have one, I'm just gonna squeeze a little bit of glue out. And you have your little brush. What I like to do to make sure I don't get too much paint on is use my little brush to just put it just in the middle. So that way it doesn't seep out the edges of my hard worked project. So you don't wanna put too much glue, just enough that it's gonna stick. And you're just gonna line it up so it goes over his eyes or her eyes. And hold it down for a little bit. And then you have your mini maker box. We hope you had so much fun painting with us. Thank you for joining us. And we can't wait to show you guys what the summer box has in it. Have an amazing spring. Bye.